said D's nuts? I heard somebody say that. Clever. I just want to say, for the record, in spite of my appearance, I am a firm believer in consent. That's a thing for me, everybody. I am the only man in the world that looks less creepy if I put on a ski mask. How you doing, Goodfoot? I grew up here in Oregon. I grew up in Tillamook, Oregon, which should be spelled with 3 Ks because, well, you know. Good cheese, though. You know what? Really good cheese. The only other place in America that makes that good a cheese is Wisconsin, which leads me to believe one of the ingredients of a delicious sharp cheddar is racism. I told that joke a couple of months ago, and somebody in the audience was like, whoa, and I'm like, is this news to you, bro? Like, if you live in Portland, just know that the rest of the state is Texas. Just get used to it. High school mascot for Tillamook High School is the Cheesemakers, which sounds hilarious to you. They're just grimly prophetic, like that's what you're gonna do when you graduate, right? High school is located between a dairy farm, a cheese factory outlet, and a lumber mill, in case you want to branch out. A real shithole. The only thing that gets aborted in Tillamook are dreams. I did grow up in Oregon, though, and I'm very proud to be from Oregon. I like this state a lot. We've done a bunch of cool things. 2 years ago, we made 2 laws that I'm particularly proud of. First of all, we made it legal to use psilocybin mushrooms during counseling. I think that's cool. I am not sure if I'm going to do it myself, though, because never once have I been high on mushrooms and thought, you know what, I want to talk to a stranger about my parents. It's never come up. The other thing that we did was we decriminalized a small amount of hard drugs. And hardly anyone ever cheers for that. And I'm telling you right now, I've lived in Portland a long time, and I know at least a third of you have cocaine on you right now. You should be very thrilled about this law. It used to be 5 years in your pocket, now it's a $100 fine. Get used to it. But I did want to find out, what did Oregon consider to be a small amount? Because the people who write those laws are never the same people that do those drugs. So I looked it up. According to the state of Oregon, a small amount of mushrooms is 12 grams of mushrooms. If you don't know why that's funny, here's why. A heroic dose of mushrooms is 3.5 grams. That will be enough to allow you to seek God. If you do 12 grams of mushrooms, you will travel through time to watch your own death. But even worse was acid. According to the state of Oregon, a small amount of acid is 40 units of acid. Holy shit, right? First of all, acid is not measured in units, it's measured in hits. If you ask a drug dealer for 5 units of acid, they should just shoot you on principle. But more importantly, 40 hits of acid is not personal use, unless you're trying to change your personality forever, in which case, it's just about enough. You can do it. I turned 51 this last summer. Didn't want to. Tried so fucking hard not to get here. But it turns out when they say the drugs will kill you, not a promise. Did you know that? It's just one possibility out of many. Another one is that you could just end up like me, right? They even told me which drugs, so I did my favorites. I did way more than an Oregon small amount of mushrooms and acid. It did not kill me, it just made me super fucking weird, right? Like I would sip kombucha at a Slayer concert. That's kind of the vibe I'm giving off. It's not true though. Kombucha's fucking gross. It tastes like Muppet piss. Right? Drinking kombucha tastes like you're getting R. Kelly by Grover. It is not okay. Was that too far? Because, man, you were fucked for the rest of this set. And you know. Because I'm 51, I got super into naps. Taking a nap a while back. Found a lump on one of my balls. Don't ask me how. Went to the doctor. The doctor, 99% chance that's not cancer. What it probably is a varicose vein on one of your testicles. Fucking gross. Can it just be cancer? Holy shit. I'm 51 years old. One of my balls is 2013. How does it even fucking work? Now, I don't want cancer for all the reasons you wouldn't want, but for me, a big one is that I don't want to lose my hair. Because I love this hair. This hair is a face tattoo. I could cut it any time and just choose not to. Do you understand? This hair makes me almost completely unapproachable, right? I've been in here a while. I saw a lot of approachable people. You know how you've had conversations you did not want to have? Never happens to me. Never once. Never once has anyone walked up to me and said, "Hey, Dan, do you want to hear about the backsplash in my kitchen?" No, I don't, and you fucking knew I didn't. All right. So my plan was, if I did have to do chemotherapy, I was going to shave my head, not to give Deluxe a love, because no kid's picking this out of a catalog, right? No kid's going to be like, give me the Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future. Like, that's never going to be a thing. Instead, what I was going to do, I was going to shave my hair, make a wig, and then just wear that wig. And people get weird about it like it's a crazy idea. No, it's fucking not. In fact, if you're a young man right now, and every male in your family goes bald by the age of 45, what you do? Grow your hair out for 2 or 3 years. Shave it off, make a wig, throw that shit in the closet. When the inevitable happens, you can take that wig out, you can be young forever. Why wouldn't you fucking do it? I get to travel a bit for comedy, get to go around the country. A while back I was in Cleveland, Ohio. Fucking hated it. Good response. Cleveland's a shithole. The only thing I wanted to do in Cleveland was go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So my friends of mine and I piled into a car, 5:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday, to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it was closed. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio closes at 5 p.m. on Saturday, which is the least rock and roll thing I've heard in my goddamn life. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should not even open until midnight, right? The only way in is to smash your way through a window with a brick. The entry fee, a key bump of cocaine. If they catch you wandering the halls not legally drunk, they throw your ass out. And it closes at 6:66 in the morning, which I know isn't a real time. And fuck you, this is rock and roll. Make our own goddamn rules. The Cleveland Fine Art Museum closes at 9 p.m. on Saturday. Once again, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio closes at 5 p.m. on Saturday, which would make Cleveland the least rock and roll place in the world, except at one point one of the rivers caught on fire, and that's pretty metal. So, dealer's choice on that one, I think. During quarantine, I tried to think about who, in fact, followed the advice of Marie Kondo and felt bad about it, right? If you're not familiar, she had a show on Netflix where she encouraged people to walk around their house, pick up shit they own, and ask themselves, does this bring me joy? And if the answer's no, to throw it away, right? And there's a couple big problems with that. First of all, very context-based question. That Nintendo 64 Gathering Dust might be pissing you off before the quarantine. During it, it's the only thing keeping the gun out of your mouth. And it's extremely privileged too, right? You can't do that in most of the world. You'd walk into somebody's house, pick up a plate, and be like, hey, does this plate bring you joy? I'm like, well, it's our only plate, so I guess. You want to critique the fork in the chair too, psycho? Get out of my fucking house. By the way, if you pick up something in your house and it brings you joy, that better be a pet or your kid, right? If it's something you bought on Amazon Prime, you should have spent all that money on therapy, serial killer. What's wrong with you? But I do want to see Marie Kondo do something. I want to see Marie Kondo work with a hoarder. That's what I want to see. See her walk into that house, pick up a broken umbrella. Does this broken umbrella bring you joy? Yes, it does. What about this other broken umbrella? Yup, love it! What about this other broken umbrella? Yes! Yes to all of it. Yes to all 22 broken umbrellas. Yes to every single one of the brown newspapers I have covered in stacks of covering every single flat surface of my house. I even love all 16 dead cats. The only thing you can do for me, Marie Kondo, is teach me the most effective way to Tetris together a bunch of broken appliances so I can get to my bathroom, because I haven't bathed in 6 months. And I know that's mean, you know, harsh against hoarders, and they don't deserve it. They're just doomsday preppers without a plan, that's all they are. And during an apocalypse, you're absolutely going to want to know a hoarder, you know? Right? That broken umbrella, bullshit for keeping rain off your head. You can absolutely turn it into 22 blowgun darts and 2 shivs. That's pretty good. There is no place safer to fucking huddle and hide than a house filled with stacks and stacks of brown, bulletproof New York Times. And nothing but nothing takes the fight out of a raving cannibal more than getting hit in the face with a goopy dead cat. They're not even hungry anymore. As I said in the beginning, I am a firm believer in consent, and the rest of my set is going to get dark. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give all of you a safe word. And that safe word is holy shit. And during the rest of my set, if at any time a joke just goes too far and you can't fucking take it anymore, just shout out holy shit. And if a few of you do, we'll just pull the ripcord on that joke and then go in a completely different direction. Are we cool with that? Yeah! Just say it one time. Holy shit. Just say it one time. So I want to tell you guys about the greatest t-shirt that I personally have ever seen. It is periwinkle pink. Somebody always jumps the gun, by the way. So you'd be terrible at BDSM. I hope you fucking... The safe word is when you push the limit, not just, I just want to say it. Don't fuck with your dom like that. That's not cool, man. So I'm going to tell you guys about my favorite t-shirt I've ever seen. It's periwinkle pink. Has a picture of an adorable old lady on the front, and written in Comic Sans font around her picture, it reads, "We're alls in for Joni," right? But they spelled alls A-L-Z, which is the abbreviation for Alzheimer's. So what this t-shirt literally says is, "We're Alzheimer's in for Joni." You know, in case she forgot. How much did this family hate Aunt Joni that they decided to remind her she had fucking Alzheimer's every time they saw her? That's cruel. And I know I'm making fun of somebody with Alzheimer's. That's not good. You have to understand, I'm absolutely getting Alzheimer's. I've done more acid than you've done ibuprofen. There's for sure no way I'm not getting Alzheimer's. When I get Alzheimer's, I want my friends and family to make me a t-shirt. I want that t-shirt to read, "Dan doesn't remember us at all." That's what I want. Then when I die, I want them to make me another t-shirt, and that t-shirt will read, "Dan is alls kinds of dead." At my funeral, I want them to play 3 songs. "I will always remember you. You are always on my mind." "Creeping Death" by Metallica. It's just a good goddamn song. And I want my tombstone to read, "Fuck y'alls." That's what I want. So I got an email a couple months back where the sender said they had hacked my laptop's camera and they had filmed me jerking off to porn. And if they didn't send them $10,000, they would send that video to every single one of my friends, family, and coworkers. And I was like, damn, that is gonna save me some time. Holy shit. I don't even have all those email addresses. I don't know how they got them. Honestly, that's a service I would have paid $10,000 for. You're gonna do it for free, you fucking sucker. I'm getting real tired of Netflix making shows trying to besmirch the name of people we all admire. A little while back they made a show about Bob Ross. Tried to dig up dirt on Bob Ross, but all they could really find was that Bob Ross fucked a lot. Because of course he did. He's Bob fucking Ross. That man is a tall drink of water. He can get it anytime he wants. In fact, if Bob Ross came in here right now and stood right there and said, Dan, we are fucking tonight, I'd be like, okay, Bob. Sounds good. But you have to do me one favor. You have to paint a happy little tree on the small of my back when you finish. That's it. All I want. No? Somebody saying no? You wouldn't do it? You fucking liar. So I'm adopted, clearly. And people use it as an insult. They'll say shit to me like you weren't wanted. Oh, really? Because my parents spent $10,000, filled out 500 pages worth of paperwork, and waited 3 years on a waiting list for a white baby because they're racist. I can handle it from here out, though. Your mom just came to your dad with a positive pregnancy test and was like, huh? And he was like, right? One of us was wanted, it's this guy right here. I'm a selected baby. You people, lottery babies. Your parents pulled on a handle and you fell out of the slot. You're not fucking special. But because I'm adopted, people think I have a lot of skin in the abortion game. They'll say shit to me like, how would you have felt if you'd have been aborted? I'm like, well, I'd have felt like you saved me about 51 years worth of hassle. I'm not saying I'm sad to be alive, right? But if something had come to me while I was in the womb and said, hey, Dan, spoiler, your name's gonna be Dan. Here's the entirety of your life. Do you want to live like, bust out the Cuisinart, son. Get me the fuck out of here. I don't want to do it. I kind of think about my life like a Netflix movie I accidentally clicked on. Sure, it's not what I would have wanted to watch, but now that it's on, I just want to see how it turns out. And I'm not saying that all of me is happy to be alive, right? A very small part of me is not. In fact, I have thought about killing myself every single day since I was 5 years old. Which means I've had some adorable suicide ideas, guys. Holy shit. What is cuter than a 5-year-old swinging from a banister by a sock monkey, huh? Maybe if I drown myself in a bowl full of Life cereal because irony's a thing? But it's not an insistent voice, it's just a constant one. And I found out recently there's a term for it, it's called passive suicidal ideation. What I really think it should be called is passive-aggressive suicidal ideation. Because it's just like I got a shitty roommate in my head, and every morning I wake up to another post-it note on the fridge, and it just reads, hey, someone didn't clean up after themselves in the kitchen again. And oh yeah, I don't know, P.S. maybe fucking kill yourself. That's all it is. And every morning I have to tear that post-it off like I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to do it, but I have come close. I've come close enough that I decided I need to check myself into a psychiatric hospital. But I didn't want to go to just any psychiatric hospital. I wanted to go to the best psychiatric hospital. So I Googled psychiatric hospital reviews. Would you believe uniformly negative? Holy shit, right? All the reviews are the same. It's just like one guy's like, they gave me the wrong meds, and when I told them, they beat my ass 1 star. And it was like that over and over again. It was so overwhelming. I started laughing so hard. I was curled up in the fetal position. I laughed so hard I didn't want to kill myself anymore. So psychiatric hospitals do work, just not any way you think of. I told that set of jokes a while back, and somebody came up to me after the show to hand me the National Suicide Prevention Hotline number. And she stood there expecting me to say thank you, and instead I was like, go fuck yourself. Because if you've been paying attention, you've realized that I have said no to suicide literally 30,000 times in my life. I'm the Michael Jordan of not fucking killing myself. Handing me that number is like trying to teach LeBron James how to dribble. Fuck you. By the way, right now, the way the world is, if you haven't thought about killing yourself every once in a while, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm probably the healthiest person in this room. I wake up every morning and choose life. What the fuck are you doing? That was pretty dark. Good job. I will say that somebody cheered when I said I was going to check myself into a psychiatric hospital, and that's a weird time to cheer. You! Like, what? All right. Calm down, dude. I don't want to interrupt my set, but I was like, damn, that's nuts. You need a hospital. Don't go to any of them, though. They're poorly rated. So I want to give you guys some good news. Good news. The nation of Sweden recently decriminalized public masturbation. So if you're going to go to Europe after the pandemic, plan accordingly, right? There is one caveat, though. You can't jerk off at somebody. You got to be staring off into space or some shit. Like, that's less fucking weird, right? I would legitimately rather have somebody stare me right in the eyes while they beat off than jerk off to a clown. So if they're looking me right in the eyes when they came, I'd be like, you know what, I do still got it. It'd be like a pick-me-up, you know? But that story made me think about how much jizz is in the average man's load, right? How much jizz? Half a teaspoon. Not a lot. Not a lot. But I graduated from college with a degree in math, so I couldn't stop there. I had to go ahead and solve the world's most disgusting story problem. Because I thought to myself, you know what, there's probably 100 million men in America that admit that half a teaspoon. Probably do it once a week, so that's 50 million teaspoons of jizz per week, which is 2.5 billion teaspoons of jizz per year, or 3.27 million gallons of jizz per year. Where the fuck is it, right? That's so goddamn much. I could put a black light up in this room, hardly any of us would glow. What the fuck? That's enough to fill one of the Twin Towers 75% of the way full. That's enough if I made a puddle of it 1 millimeter deep. It'd be big enough to bukkake all of Portland, and yet somehow we didn't see any of it on our way here tonight. Matter cannot be created nor destroyed, yet somehow we got men out here casting spells on the daily. What the fuck is going on? And I think we all know that that number is really, really low. Because it's not 100 million men, it's more like 4 billion. And it's not once a week, it's more like once a day. And if you do the numbers there, it comes out to 797 million gallons of jizz per year. Which is an ecological disaster, right? That's an Exxon Valdez oil spill amount of jizz per year. And you know what the saddest part about that? The saddest part? No one wants to clean off that seagull. You know what I mean? Just gonna let it die, smelling of bleach and despair. It's fucking pitiful. So I'm a pretty nerdy guy, in case you guys don't have eyes and can't see, pretty nerdy guy. But I hate nerds. I don't like nerds at all. They're a shitty group of dudes, right? They're a bunch of guys who have filled with toxic masculinity while having no actual masculinity. Do you understand? Pathetic. They're like, I hate women. Don't worry about it, bro. Never coming up for you. But I played D&D for 40 years. I played a lot of D&D in my lifetime. Right? And people would give me shit about it, like, oh man, you know, I was too busy getting laid in high school to play D&D. And I was like, you know what? I was able to do both. I don't know what you're doing. You unfuckable pile of shit. Like, what? By the way, the people who can't get laid and play D&D, D&D is not the thing keeping their dicks dry. You know what I mean? It's more like fucking hygiene or some shit. But I am nerdy. I'm nerdy enough that I have my favorite rocket ship. It's the Space Shuttle Challenger. Does anybody remember what happened to the Space Shuttle Challenger? Yeah! If you don't remember, here's how it went. Cool, fucking amazing. It was great. It was a rocket that flew in the air and blew up, and we call that shit fireworks, and we fucking love it. And when I was a young man, I got to watch a $5 billion bottle rocket blow up at 10,000 feet. And when that happened, I laughed as hard as I've laughed in my entire life. I laughed so hard I got detention for it. So if you don't remember, there's a teacher that won a trip on that space shuttle. And as she was getting on the space shuttle, did a close-up of her face, and the look on her face said, "This is going to be the greatest moment of the rest of my life." And she, 100% correct. Holy shit. And yeah, it's sad she died, sure. But she died on a rocket ship. Every single person you've ever known will die. None of them will die on a rocket ship. If you ask me how I wanted to die, 100 out of 100 times, rocket ship. If that's not your answer, maybe you're the psycho, not me. By the way, that teacher was an alternate. The original passenger of the Space Shuttle Challenger was supposed to be Big Bird. Can you imagine how fucking horrific it would have been if Big Bird would have been on the space shuttle? All the Sesame Street characters just there to see him off, Bert and Ernie holding one another, weeping uncontrollably. The Snuffleupagus just ceases to exist altogether. And the Count's just out there compulsively counting burning yellow feathers as they fall from the sky. I got one, two, he can't help himself. I think the saddest part about that is when I said Big Bird, you all thought of Big Bird the person instead of Big Bird the suit, right? There's a man inside of that suit and he would have died nameless. No one would have given a fuck about the man inside Big Bird, right? This guy has a family, probably has kids. On the anniversary of the space shuttle disaster, his kids are crying. Their friends are like, dude, Billy, what's up, man? He's like, you know, my dad died on the space shuttle. I'm like, shit, Billy, I didn't know your dad was an astronaut. He's like, no. More like a mascot if you really think about it. Was that too far? I get it. I, like a lot of people, got into true crime documentaries during the quarantine. I think my favorite was a show called The Last Dance. It was the story of a man named Michael Jordan who murdered the entire NBA for goddamn near a decade. No shit. That's part of the joke, sir. I say it's a true crime documentary, and then I say The Last Dance, and everybody's like, oh shit, that's not a true crime documentary. I think I'll laugh instead of fact check the comedian, but alright. It's not like I said that like I didn't fucking know. How pathetic would it be if now was the first time I've realized, what? The big takeaway from The Last Dance is that Michael Jordan was psychotically competitive, right? He couldn't lose at anything, not basketball, not golf, not even fucking Scrabble. And that's why Michael Jordan was one of the saddest men in America when Kobe Bryant died. Because if you're not familiar, Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter accident, and now Michael Jordan can't die in his sleep. Do you know what I'm saying? He's got to top helicopter crash, right? He can't go out like a punk. He's got to go out like a champion. That's going to be his plane into his yacht, and then the greatest death of all time. The dote, if you will. The G on that is silent. I told that joke at Al's Den, and a couple months later I ran into a guy who told me that he was there, heard that joke, laughed really hard, and his girlfriend broke up with him for it. So I'm just out here changing lives, one person at a time. Also, that dude was better off without that unhumorous bitch, right? God damn. Might not have come as any surprise whatsoever that I've had a lot of one-on-one meetings at work with bosses. I had one of them, and my boss was like, Dan, every time you make comments during meetings, we all laugh, and then we feel really bad inside. And I have never received a better compliment than that. Holy shit. I loved it. And she was like, you gonna try harder? And I said, yes. And we both walked away thinking totally different things. I'm gonna leave you with this. I don't know how many bros y'all have the misfortune of hanging out with on a regular basis. But if you do, you will inevitably be asked the question, would you suck a dude's dick for $1 million? And that's a stupid question for all kinds of reasons. But a big one for me is that no one has ever asked the opposite question. Nobody's ever walked up to me and said, hey Dan, would you eat a lady's pussy for $1 million? Oof. I don't have that kind of money. Maybe I could take out a loan? No, Dan, they pay you. What? Holy shit. Man, I would eat 1 million pussies for $1 a piece. I know it'd take me some time, but I'm willing to clear my schedule, everybody. You know what they say, do what you love and you don't work a day in your life. Thanks a lot, everybody.